Okay, we're going to play back a podcast done with expert witness litigation 360 cross-body tree trim media extraction. And this is yours truly, Dr. A. Rush. And now I'm going to get some cameras so we can get the stuff going. We are recording from inside the computer using MSN Recorder Max. And the first thing that I'd like to do before I proceed any further is to go to the top of my folder here and place this video file in my notes. And this is a screen recorder, what is it called exactly? MS Recorder Max. Okay, and this is the video file, Control V to paste. And notice that this video file contains both my video, the date, and the time.mpeg, which is a video file name. I saved it in one place, and then I save it yet in another one. Paste, and that is very important. This file, which I'm showing you right now, is a file that contains our new vanity number that talks to an AI directly, and most importantly, they also deal with the monitoring service. So the vanity numbers are USA MAN We Go and USA MAN IS. And these numbers are converting to digits. These are vanity phone numbers. Let me give you one example from USA MAN We Go. Translates to the following area code: 871 666 9346. Okay, with this in mind, let's proceed to the next step, which where I'm going to turn on a few cameras here. We'll start here from Webcam Max, and I want to use the try version because I don't want to pay. And now I want to hide my screen in the back with my famous Hawaiian shirt. Can you repeat it, please? Now that I stopped the overcast from the back, we are going to start recording with a Webcam Max. I press the record button and you can see that it is already 1 second, and I'm going to drag it down so it doesn't take the entire screen, but we can still monitor it. In addition to that, I want to add another camera, and this is a camera that gives us trouble, so I'll also run the PSAR, Problem Step Recorder, from Windows 10. I'm starting a new recording, and I'm adding in a comment the video file name that I just created, and okay, and now we start recording it from there. And let me show you the problems that we are experiencing with this camera. The camera software simply wouldn't run properly. UCam from Cyberlink, once it boots up, it just doesn't work. The drivers don't work properly. So you see that I started it and I get an error message. For this reason, what we want to do is we get the whoops message, UCam 10exe has stopped. And what you have to do sometimes, I don't want to send them and troubleshoot them because they are wasting the time and it doesn't work, so we close it and don't worry about it. But because we have local computer problems, we are going to use also a cloud recorder from Loom. I double-clicked it, and now I want to select the cameras. Now that I selected the camera, we'll get the time going, and I click Start, and you'll see the timer coming on. And now I can make my image a little larger and introduce to you today's focus of the session, which is Notebook LM from Google. We're going to play back and then use the interactive mode with our famous Dr. S. Rush. We start the playback. This is a podcast of almost an hour. So I click the play button and nothing happens, so I'll double click it and hope that something will happen. You see how slow this is, you know that there is a problem.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at the world of online education,
Okay.
but with a little twist.
Oh.
Yeah, we're going to be diving into how a University of Miami business technology professor, Dr. Sarah Rushinek, is shaking things up.
Wow.
You guys have sent in some articles, YouTube transcripts, even her CV.
Oh, wow.
So we have a lot to cover today.
It's pretty amazing to see how Dr. Rushinek blends, these like high-tech tools with almost like a DIY, like maker spirit. It
Yeah.
reminds me of like the early days of the internet when people had to be really creative, They had to work with like very limited resources.
Totally. Okay, so first up,
Yep.
let's look at her hybrid learning setup.
Okay.
She's using Zoom, YouTube Live, StreamYard, all the,
Mm-hmm.
the usual suspects.
Yeah.
But here's what's so interesting.
Okay.
She's actually figured out how to manipulate the search engine results
Oh, wow.
so that her live streams are super easy to find,
That's really clever.
isn't it?
Yeah, she's using these, very specific keywords and even some misspelled ones.
Really?
Yeah, to make sure that her content, pops up in searches, even if someone isn't directly,
Yeah.
searching for like academic material.
I see.
So she's reaching a much wider audience this way.
So someone searched.
You can't hear it at this point. So you want to play it?
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at the world of online education.
Okay.
But, with a little twist.
Oh.
Okay. We're going to be diving into how a University of Miami business technology professor, Dr. Sarah Rushinek, is shaking things up.
Wow.
You guys have sent in some articles, YouTube transcripts, even her CV.
Oh, wow.
So we have a lot to cover today.
It's pretty amazing to see how Dr. Rushinek blends, these like high-tech tools with almost like a DIY, like maker spirit.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like the early days of the internet when people had to be really creative, They had to work with like very limited resources.
Totally. Okay, so first up,
Yep.
let's look at her hybrid learning setup.
Okay.
She's using Zoom, YouTube Live, StreamYard, all the,
Mhm.
usual suspects.
Yeah.
But here's what's so interesting.
Okay.
She's actually figured out how to manipulate the search engine results
Oh, wow.
so that her live streams are super easy to find.
That's really clever.
Oh, our listeners got something to share. Let's hear it.
This is called reverse engineering SEO, search engine optimization.
That's right, she's figuring out how the algorithm works,
It's fascinating how she's using that knowledge.
isn't it?
Yeah, she's using these, very specific keywords.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to make sure that her content pops up in searches.
Yeah,
Even if someone isn't directly searching for academic material.
I see.
So she's reaching a much wider audience this way.
So someone searching for funny therapy on YouTube
Mm-hmm.
might end up in her business technology class.
Right.
That's wild.
It really shows how dedicated she is,
Yeah.
to engaging with students wherever they are online.
How does it look?
But we should also talk about her recording setup too.
Okay.
Because that's where her DIY spirit shines through.
Yeah, I was reading about this neck wallet, rubber bands, even an easel.
Yeah.
It sounds more like an art studio than a tech setup.
I know.
What is going on?
So the neck wall. Oh yeah, let's hear it.
This is called the neck, wallet, phone, and badge holding a lanyard attached to the back of the videographer with retractable carabinage.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
You've really done your research.
Okay, so that neck wallet, it actually becomes a chest-mounted camera.
And it's all secured with those rubber bands.
Oh, wow.
So get this, the easel is attached to a chair.
And then
The easel
fashioned
and
to
the
the
tap.
bed.
It's quite the setup.
So it's like a homemade stabilizer rig.
Exactly.
It's so resourceful.
It is.
I can imagine her students.
Oh yeah, uh-huh.
It is flexible. It can be attached to a chair or a table as well as worn on the videographer or the instructor's chest.
Thanks, I'm glad you brought that up.
So it's not just stuck on a bed.
Right, it's more adaptable than we thought.
I can imagine her students must get a kick out of it.
Yeah, it's a great way to catch their attention.
But all this makes you wonder, does this DIY approach work?
What do you mean?
I mean, is the video quality any good?
Well, from what we've seen in the YouTube transcripts,
Yeah.
the video quality is surprisingly good. You know,
Oh, okay.
it might not be a professional studio,
Right.
but it's definitely engaging. You know,
Yeah.
it seems like she focuses on a dynamic learning experience
Mhm.
more than having a perfectly polished setup.
That makes sense. It's all about substance over style.
Exactly.
And speaking of dynamic, I saw she uses a multi-camera setup.
Yeah, she uses OBS.
What's that?
OBS, or Open Broadcaster Software, combines the footage.
Okay.
So it's not just a static view of her talking.
Right.
She integrates live footage with pre-recorded segments too.
Wow.
She switches between camera angles. So
It's like her own little show.
it is.
That's pretty impressive, especially if she's doing all this herself.
Yeah, but we should remember the retractable system too.
Yeah.
It lets her film from different directions.
Oh, that's right.
It adds a lot of flexibility.
So, go for it.
She has teaching assistant students that help monitor it from the seats of the class.
Wow, that's a new detail.
I haven't heard about teaching assistant stones.
Are you sure we're understanding that right?
Well, I do know
Say
Dr.
something,
Rishnik is
Steve.
very resourceful.
So she could be giving her assistants, like,
Yeah, maybe stones as rewards or incentives.
maybe it is like crypto mining.
That's an
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
This is a hybrid class of some students in the class, in-person instructor, as well as streaming online to the World Wide Web on YouTube Live.
Ah, that makes a lot more sense.
Thanks for clearing that up.
We appreciate the insight.
It's really cool how she's integrating all this stuff.
It is flexible.
I'm just impressed she can pull it all off.
Yeah.
So we were talking about all the angles she uses.
Right.
And those rubber bands we talked about earlier.
Mhm.
They're there so that the foam doesn't fall out. Exactly. No matter what crazy things she does.
Right.
It takes a lot of time and effort.
Oh, go for it.
When she wears it on her chest and she has to bend down to connect the cables, it's important that the phone keeps streaming live and doesn't fall and breaks on the floor.
Absolutely. It's all about that continuous stream.
That's so important.
That makes so much sense.
Okay, so it takes a lot of time and effort, you know.
It does.
It shows how dedicated she is
Mhm.
to creating something special for her students.
Absolutely.
What stood out to you about this multi-camera approach?
Well, I think it's really smart.
Yeah.
And because it keeps the viewers engaged.
Yeah.
Online learning can be tough.
Yeah.
It's easy to get distracted.
Yeah.
But by switching things up visually, she's
I don't
keeping
say
things
something else.
interesting
Yeah.
and helping students focus.
It's like those cooking shows, you know,
Mhm,
where they cut the
mhm.
close-ups of the ingredients and stuff.
Yep. Yeah.
Different angles of the chef.
Right. Yep. Go
It's
on.
also for remote students that are in Afghanistan and other Muslim countries that cannot get entry to the U.S. They can participate remotely in the class.
That's a really important point.
I hadn't even considered that.
It really underscores the importance
Yeah.
of making education accessible to everyone. I'm glad you brought that up.
It's a reminder of why this kind of hybrid learning is so important.
Right.
You're way more drawn in than if it was just one shot.
Absolutely.
And speaking of keeping things interesting,
Yes.
she brings in collaborative learning tools.
Right, like Google Colab Notebook.
Exactly.
I'm curious how that works in a real classroom setting, especially for something like coding.
Yeah, so from what I understand, it allows students to code together in real time.
Wow.
They can see each other's code and make edits.
Hey, yeah, what's up?
The Notebook LM allows students to study for the exams. They can ask Google Notebook LM to give them some specific multiple choice questions, and then they can use.
That's a great point.
I'm glad you brought that up.
So Notebook LM isn't just for collaboration
It can actually help them prep for tests, too.
by creating multiple choice questions.
That is really resourceful.
Oh yeah, go on.
It helps the instructor prepare a test bank from which the tests are created.
That's even more resourceful.
It's really cool how she's integrating all this stuff.
Yeah, and it's not just for multiple choice.
Right, and they use AI for video to text conversion.
They do.
Yeah, they publish the transcripts on their websites.
Wow.
So they're learning about video, AI, and web publishing.
It is making me rethink traditional assignments.
How they could be revamped for online learning.
That's right, they can see each other's code and they can problem solve collaboratively.
Oh, wow.
even if they're not physically in the same room.
That's so cool.
It's like having a virtual study group, but for coding.
Hmm.
It makes learning way more interactive
Right.
than just listening to a lecture.
Absolutely. And it prepares them for real world work.
Yeah.
Where collaboration is so important.
And it's all in service of preparing those tests.
That's right.
Her peer review method is even more unique.
Okay.
She actually has students create funny videos.
Oh, I love that.
I know, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a way to make learning fun and relatable.
Yeah.
They're taking complex concepts
Hmm.
and turning them into something engaging.
Yeah.
It's like making their own study guides.
Yeah.
But instead of dry summaries,
Yeah.
they're coming up with creative ways to explain things.
It's like learning meets entertainment.
Yeah, and it ties back into her use of AI more broadly.
Okay.
She's incorporating Notebook LM for podcasting,
Wow.
ChatGPT for study guides,
Yeah.
even AI-driven trading algorithms.
She's really pushing the boundaries.
She is.
It's some,
Ah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the peer review students are quizzing and testing each other and grading each other, which she integrates into the final grade.
wow, that's a really interesting point.
So it's not just peer review.
Right.
The students are actually grading each other.
And that counts toward the final grade.
That's a pretty innovative approach.
It sounds like she's giving them a taste of what's possible,
Right.
not just teaching about it theoretically.
Plus, they're learning how to assess each other's work,
Yeah,
which is a really valuable skill.
it is.
Okay, I'm curious to hear more about how she's using these tools.
Well, for example, with Notebook LM,
Yeah.
students can create podcasts to summarize readings and record their reflections.
It's such a good idea.
It encourages them to actively engage.
And it really hones those grading skills.
Exactly.
Plus, they're getting experience with podcasting,
Absolutely.
which is a valuable skill these days.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Each peer review group creates a podcast of another chapter to cover the entire textbook.
Wow, that's a great way to crowdsource knowledge.
It's really smart to have each group focus
Yeah.
on a different chapter,
Absolutely.
especially with a whole textbook to cover.
Then with ChatGPT, they can generate study guides.
It's like having a personalized AI tutor.
It is.
I imagine it takes pressure off of students.
Yeah, it's strict.
Oh, yeah, uh-huh.
Yes, for ChatGPT, she is using a vanity phone number 800 ChatGPT.
That's interesting.
I hadn't thought about that.
So it streamlines the process.
Allows them to focus on understanding the concepts.
Speaking of understanding concepts,
Yeah.
her peer review method is even more
Okay,
unique.
good. Just
Oh.
go
She
along.
actually has
It'll
students create funny videos.
Oh, I love that.
I know, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a way to make learning fun and relatable. They're taking complex concepts
Mm-hmm.
and turning them into something engaging.
Yeah,
It's like making their own study guides.
right.
But instead of dry summaries,
Yeah.
they're coming up with creative ways to explain things.
It's like learning meets entertainment.
Yeah, and it ties back into her use of AI more broadly.
Okay.
She's incorporating Notebook LM for podcasting,
Wow.
ChatGPT for study guides,
Yeah.
even AI-driven trading algorithms.
She's really pushing the boundaries.
She is.
It sounds like she's giving them a taste of what's possible.
Right.
Not
It's
just
just like
teaching about it
repeating
theoretically.
Plus, they're learning how to assess each other's work,
Yeah.
which is a really valuable skill.
It is.
I'm curious to hear more about how she's using these tools.
Well, for example, with Notebook LM,
Yeah.
students can create podcasts to summarize readings
Mhm.
and record their
It's
reflections.
such a good idea.
It encourages them to actively engage.
And it really hones those grading skills.
Exactly.
Plus, they're getting experience with podcasting,
Absolutely.
which is a valuable skill these days.
Absolutely.
I was intrigued by her vision for a holistic trading retreat,
Yes.
a retreat that blends trading education with wellness practices.
It's such a cool concept
Yeah.
when you think about how stressful trading can be.
I'm curious how she came up with this idea
Mm-hmm.
and what kind of impact she hopes it'll have.
Well, I think she sees the connection
Yeah.
between well-being and success.
Yeah.
Especially in a field like trading.
If you're stressed, you're not going to make good decisions.
No, absolutely not.
It seems like she's trying to equip her students.
Mm-hmm.
She's giving them tools for mental and emotional well-being. It's a really holistic approach to success.
It is.
Okay, well, on that note, let's look at her CV
Okay.
because it's pretty impressive, you know.
It is.
She's clearly a prolific researcher
Mm-hmm.
with expertise in a wide range of areas.
Oh yeah, her CV highlights her work in everything.
Wow.
expert systems, big data, and analytics.
Wow.
Cybersecurity, blockchain, algorithmic trading.
Wow.
So it's clear that she has a diverse set of interests.
Yeah.
She's not afraid to explore the intersections.
I'm seeing connections between research and teaching.
Yeah.
It's like her research is informing her teaching.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing to have theoretical knowledge.
Yeah.
But she's actually putting her research into practice.
Yeah.
Finding real world applications for these technologies.
That's.
She's not keeping all this knowledge to herself either.
No, she's not.
She's a visiting professor at USC and UCLA.
Oh, wow.
She conducts executive training seminars.
That's impressive.
It shows her commitment to knowledge sharing, empowering others through education.
Absolutely.
Her involvement in organizations like WEDI,
Yeah.
the Government Blockchain Association, and ISACA further emphasizes her dedication to the tech community.
Yeah, it's inspiring to see someone so actively involved.
Totally.
Her recognition by the city of Coral Gables.
Yeah.
Her induction into the Women in Technology Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Those accolades speak volumes.
I agree.
But it's not just about the award.
Right.
It's about the real difference she's making.
Yeah.
She's not just teaching about technology.
Yeah.
She's empowering people to become lifelong learners. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, on that note, that brings us to the end of today's show.
Okay.
We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.
Looking forward to it.
I really appreciate you joining us today.
Yeah, this was fascinating and a lot of fun.
I hope you all enjoyed our deep dive into Dr. Roshanek.
Thanks again for all your help.
We hope to see you for our next deep dive.
We hope you found today's discussion insightful.
Until next time, keep exploring.
We hope you can join us for our next show.
And thank you so much for tuning in and sharing your thoughts with us.
With-
Oh, back to our listener. What's up?
Don't forget about the expert witness litigation, 300 degrees crossbody, tree trim media extraction for field trips outside the classroom.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack.
You're right. I think you're pointing out a few things.
Yeah.
Let's connect the dots.
Okay.
It sounds like you're interested in her work as an expert witness.
Right, she is an expert in litigation.
It shows she really knows her stuff.
I'm seeing a lot of tech here.
Yeah, and you're also interested in that cross-body filming setup.
Yeah,
That's a great way to capture different angles.
absolutely.
And of course, you're highlighting those field trips.
Mhm.
It's all about bringing learning outside the classroom.
Exactly.
Thanks so much for bringing that to our attention.
It's really about combining technology with education.
Right.
We really appreciate your perspective.
Yeah, and I'm glad you chimed in.
We hope you'll join us again soon.
Yeah, this was fascinating and a lot of fun.
I hope you all enjoyed our deep dive into Dr. Rushanek.
Thanks again for all your help.
We hope to see you for our next deep dive.
We hope you found today's discussion insightful.
Until next time, keep exploring.
We hope you can join us for our next show.
And it's been a pleasure having you with us.
We're signing off for today.
We appreciate you,
We hope you enjoyed the show.
and we'll see you soon.
Bye for now.
And goodbye.
So at this point, I want to copy the URL of this session and paste it in my notes next to the, or above the video file, edit, paste, and then a couple of entries.
Can I show you how to make the link open?
And
Public.
now I want to create a file for the PSAR problem step recorder to update information from yesterday. Let me focus this camera a little bit higher up.
Okay, I'm going to prepare for my
Fine, bye.
Zoom meeting, okay?
Yeah. So I'm going to put both the hyperlink plus the video file name, first mark it, then edit copy, then edit as a comment to PSAR problem step recorder, click on add comments, paste it as a comment, and then just copy the MyVideo file name to integrate it in the file name of PSAR problem step recorder. So right mouse click and copy to the clipboard buffer, then click OK to confirm. And now I'm ready to stop the recording and save the recording. Here's where I want to save it, but I have to take the previous file and update it with the new information. So instead of having the previous video file name, I'm going to override them with the current video, or maybe just insert the current video and update it. So Control V to insert the current video. Notice what this covers is Notebook LM, VAPI AI, and the video file names that were involved in creating this vanity phone number that is spelling the words USA Man We Go and USA Man We IS, which stands for Information Systems.ai, because all of these are AI type of processors. So we are going to use telephony integrated into AI, so when the students call USA Man We Go or USA Man We IS, they are going to talk to the AI of the classroom using the VAPI.ai algorithm for developing artificial intelligence. Now I have to update the information. This is a poor man version control. The previous version was version B, so I'm going to type a C instead and delete the B. Also, the day that we started it was in the 19th, and today is the 20th already. So I'm going to put in the new date of today, which is 2-20 for the 20th day of February dash 2026. And today is Thursday, unlike yesterday, which was Wednesday, so I'm putting capital T, lowercase u, and a period. And then I have to change the day of the week from Tuesday to Thursday. So it will be T, capital T, and lowercase h, period, for Thursday. And the current time now is 11:43. 11:43, and it is AM. AM. And delete the irrelevant stuff. It is still a zip type of file, so I'm going to keep the .zp. And now I want to capture the psar.exe path, copy it into RAM, and insert it at the beginning of the file name field. Right mouse click and paste, and backslash, separate the path from the file name. And now I got a complete file name, including all the video clips of the lectures, including the VAPI AI and the try free. This is important to know that the VAPI AI gives us the free trial period, which is what we are using here. By now I'm reviewing what I've done. I'm going to psar.exe, then back to copy the path, then save the psar file, then click on review additional details and scroll up to see how many steps of problem recording. That was 2 steps. Okay, and in the first step you can see that I had some problem with the camera, that I couldn't upload the second camera. Then we have some details. So now I want to review the settings, make sure it runs, and start a new recording, and add in the comment the previous Pixar file name, paste it right in the box, then hit a couple of enters and click OK to continue. But before I continue any further, I want to put the Pixar file name in my notes. So edit, paste, and then at the end, a few enters, and file save. So now that we are done with that, let's play back the recording, and we will start from Loom, the cloud recorder, and play it back. And let's see how well it does. But before I play it back, or after I start playing it back, I'm going to capture the file name and paste it in my notes. So first of all, I have to click this red circle button with a square white button in it to stop, and then it will open up the browser, and I'll snap the URL of loom.com. Let's see if I can play it back. It's not ready yet, so we will leave it for later. In the meantime, I'm going to go to another video and see if it works. Okay, so that was Webcam Max. It is still working, so I'm going to stop it and play it back and see if it plays back okay. Maybe I'll turn on the light a little bit to see whether more light is better or worse. It may be better, I don't know. Let's see. We'll stop it. Then it started immediately another clip, which I don't know why. But let's stop the second one here also. And double click the first one, see if it works. I press the record button, and you can see that it is already 1 second, and I'm going to drag it down so it doesn't take the entire screen, but we can still monitor it. In addition to that, I want to add another camera. Okay, that works perfectly well, so I want to close it. And finally, the last video to wrap up is the MSN Recorder Max. MSN Recorder Max, so I want to stop it and try to play it back. In the meantime, I was hoping that this will work, but it doesn't, so we'll make it small again. Oh, Loom AI is generating. Usually it takes a few seconds. Trim, edit and trim video, document messages and reports, add the link. Let's make it a little smaller and let the AI Loom work. In the meantime, I'm going to stop.